Jennifer Brandt, family law attorney. Explain to me how on earth these children, I understand you get put in the foster care system. I always thought the goal was reunification with the biological family. You have grandparents that were trying to follow the program, a mother trying to follow. Why would you adopt them out to a young couple who has 4 other children that are young?
Yeah.
Come on, 6 kids? No way is that the best interest of any child. Now they're charged with murder. How does this happen?
I don't know, Vinny. You know, you hear about these kind of things happening, and there are people out there that, really do want children and, want to be good foster parents and then be adoptive parents. But you're right with what you said earlier. Usually the goal is reunifying the children with their biological family, with a grandparent, with another family member if the parents aren't available or aren't able to take the children. So how these complete strangers got the children, how the children didn't go with the family, it sounds like a failure in the system. But we don't know. We don't know what the grandparents were really doing and how involved they were at the time. Bottom line, these people got a hold of these children through the foster system, and it's just tragic that these poor children are missing, and who knows what really happened to them. We don't even want to know.
Yeah, I don't understand how you look at the situation with these parents. They already had 4 kids that were young, and we're not talking about people that have nannies or help. No, they're struggling. No. They are absolutely how could it be in the best interest of those kids to be there? And I know money isn't everything, but I mean, any of us who've been parents know how difficult it is with, 1 young one or 2 young ones. 6? No way. Ridiculous, absurd, especially when you have a biological family that was trying to follow the program here. Al Wunsch, let's get to the criminal case. If, and again, this is the if these adoptive parents are factually innocent, right? Not like we didn't prove it, no, factually innocent. This is the easiest case ever to win if they're factually innocent. The prosecution has alleged a murder timetable of September. The children were reported missing by the adoptive parents in December. All you have to do is demonstrate some proof of life between September and December of those 2 cute little kids. Like you don't have 1 photograph on your phone of these kids. Is this not the easiest case to prove if they're factually innocent?
It should be the easiest case to prove if they're factually innocent. You're correct. I mean, the prosecution, they've hedged their bet a little bit by going for a superseding indictment and bringing in more things that could possibly have caused the death of these kids. They could have ingested drugs. They could have fallen from a chair. They could have been hit by a bus. I mean, for all we know, they, were not being watched properly or something along those lines. So the prosecution is hedging their bet. And you're right. If a photograph comes between that timeline, the state's going to have an awful hard time trying to convince a jury that they have a solid case and that they're not just grasping at straws. So the prosecution, they're playing with house money, though, Vin, and you know how that is. Whenever you're playing with house money, you can afford to be a little crazy.
Well, the problem that the defense has here is it's not 1 child, it's 2 children. So if you want to talk about some accident or something happening, but there's 2 of them. There's 2 of them, and it's 2 out of 6. 2 out of 6. And they have a story about what they say happened. That the 2 kids, they were wrapping Christmas gifts, and he's out chopping wood in the freezing cold, and they just disappeared like that. I mean, there's a story they are locked into here. So, Darnell, your thoughts? I mean, come on. If you have that photograph, who would not take a million pictures, first of all, of these 2 kids? But you have to have at least 1. How could you not take at least 1 picture of your children in a 2-month time period in the year 2020 when everyone's locked up inside during COVID? Come on, Darnell, right? I mean, to me, that is... And if that picture exists, you would show it right now, wouldn't you? You're not waiting for the trial. You're saying, look, Mr. Prosecutor, here's the proof of life picture.
Instagram, Twitter, these are the things that these young people live for. And so they will take pictures and be posting them every place. But I have an article up here on my computer, Gabby Petito and 1 Way to Break Media's Missing White Woman Syndrome. That's by the Los Angeles Times. And I have to applaud Court TV and that community that I've been watching, because I can get a little bit angry sometimes, but I'm very emotional to see how this family has garnered so much support from the community. And these are Black kids, and typically, as we saw it in many articles about Gabby Petito and how the media responds to missing white women, these family of this community with these billboards and the way they marched and the way they came out, I have to applaud them, and I have to applaud Court TV tonight for even further showing this, because these kids deserve this type of attention. It's unfortunate what happened to them, and it does my heart warm to see this. I was in court on the docket today at 2 o'clock. I represent a woman who has a young baby, a couple months old, that has 15 broken ribs, and the father wants to give up custody, et cetera. But they won't give the kid to the family of my client, because they said we don't know for 100% certain what happened. So now the child's with foster care. So until you get 100%, you're going to put the child in foster care outside of the family and not to any of them. And it breaks my heart. So we're there from 2 to 4 o'clock today fighting the same thing. And like you said, Al, this is ridiculous. 6 kids, young family, difficult. So it breaks my heart.
All right. When we come back, time to hear from you. Oh, we've got a trial date. Let me put it up on the screen. We got the trial date here for the case against Trezell and Jacqueline West, October 24th. October 24th, readiness hearing on the 14th, but the trial date, October 24th.